everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. Okay, guys, some of you love my intro. I even had one person saying she sometimes plays it over and over once or twice. Then there are a few saying it is too long and they are not interested in waiting 24 seconds for the video to start. Well, there you have it. The intro is exactly 24 seconds long. So if you don't like it, then skip ahead 24 seconds. One cannot please everyone all the time. I love the music, although I may change the graphics at some point. But the music is exactly 24 seconds, so even when I do that, it will still be 24 seconds long. And I'm afraid it is here to stay. Something you can associate with me. If you hear it, you can say, oh, there's Bookie. Okay, so there you have it. You don't like it or you are too impatient, then skip along 24 seconds. Okay, the same goes for my personal intro. I mean, I don't always do it, but I often say hello and what the weather is like here and so on. I try to keep it to about 1 minute, 50 seconds, thereabouts, including the intro. So if you only want to get to the royal stuff, then skip along to 1 minute, 50 seconds or 2 minutes. Okay, guys, that's it. So let me skip along to today's video. Okay, so it has come out a few days ago that Harry went from Angola to Botswana to visit his friends Tanya and Mike, or then his other mom and dad. There are even stories that he had some kind of rendezvous with a dark-haired woman in Rwanda, thus before he even took off for Botswana. But guys, that was all 2 weeks ago. Where is he now? Actually, come to think of it, where's Megan? There was a post on As Ever's Instagram page for the wine, which will be back in stock next week, but that is it. She's not posted on her personal page since July the 4th. Okay, guys, so what I am going to do next is total guesswork. You can even call it conspiracy theory, okay? Or then a fairy tale. And I'm going to bet you. No, wait. I'm not going to tell you what my bet is because then they, and I'm not telling you who they are either, then they will do the opposite or do something else. But I'm going to tell you what my theory is. I think Harry flew from South Africa to England or Scotland or even maybe Portugal. You know, there where they are supposedly, allegedly building a holiday home. Although I heard, it's also whisper in the wind, I heard that the building of their holiday home has been halted. Okay, we'll know soon enough whether that's true. Anyway, I think Meghan and one or both of the children joined Harry wherever he is, whether he's in England, in Scotland, or in Portugal. But I think she joined him there. Now, as we also know, King Charles arrived in Scotland about 2 days ago, where he will first spend time at the Castle of May before moving on to Balmoral. And I think Balmoral is still open to the public until the 10th of August. Okay, so it is my opinion, my theory, that Harry will at least take Archie to go see Pa in Scotland, if he hasn't already. or is there in Scotland at the moment? You know, Meghan may not want to set foot in England again, but what about Scotland? Will she join Harry to go see Pa to keep watch over the children? Well, with Charles, I don't even think there's anything to fear for her. And as far as I know, William and his family are still on holidays somewhere. Thus, it would be safe enough for them to go see Pa, I think. Okay, now, I have a good reason for making or producing this theory. So before you think Bookie has lost her mind, hear me out. I have fairly reliable information that King Charles has seen Archie more than we think. The individual said nothing about little Betty, so I'm just going to leave her out of the equation for now. Okay, I'm quite aware of her existence, it's just they didn't mention her by name. I'm also told by the same entity that King Charles did send the Harkle children Christmas gifts last year. So maybe, just maybe, the relationship between King Charles and Harry are not quite as bad as we think. Or maybe this revealing of the children to Grandpa is part of Harry and Meghan's strategy to ensure an inheritance or to get a significant loan from Pa or to make some sort of comeback. I don't know. I can guess which one it is, but I think I have already done enough of that guessing for one day. But I know where this sort of cryptic information came from, and that is why I actually believe it. I wasn't told how or when King Charles saw Archie. Maybe it was just via Zoom, or maybe someone took him to go see Grandpa. I have no clue. They did not say, and I know better with this particular entity. I know better than to ask. Yes, and then I wonder what Grandpa sent for Christmas. I think that's rather interesting. Anyway, I'm feeling more and more that we are being fed planted lies because the palace does not want us to know the truth about certain things. Remember, when it comes to the children, the UK media is already being kept quiet with super injunctions and so on. So if my hunch is true, remember it is only my theory, although you can go and stake out the castle of May if you want to. But if it is true and Harry took Archie or both the children to see Pa in Scotland, or he's going to, then I can honestly tell you that we may not even get to know about it ever, or maybe only hear about it a year or two from now. I want you to consider something. The United Kingdom, the country, the government, okay, and the royals has this thing where they shut the information stream down from inside. In Afrikaans, there's a popular saying, waar 'n rookie is daar 'n vuurtjie, which translates to where there's smoke, there's fire. And that is how I feel about all of this. I've heard from 3 different people that Harry wants Archie, in particular, educated in Europe. What he wants for Lily is unsure, but I can see Harry or Harry and Meghan sending the children to boarding school in England or Europe and then moving to be closer to the children. Is that how they are going to catch and manipulate Charles? By using the children or the children and their education? It's quite possible. Harry can go to Pa and say, listen, Pa, I want to send Archie to Eton. What can Pa do? I mean, Harry's free to send Archie to Eton. Legally can't stop him. So, they can do that and then turn around and say, oh, we're moving back to Britain because we want to be near the little boy. Easy peasy. However, I'm also hearing that Harry may bring out that second book. All the stuff which were thrown out from the first book. I'm also hearing that Harry may have accepted an offer to make a Diana documentary. The kind of thing where they say from one of her children's perspective, that kind of thing. Now, maybe I'm just a little delulu this week, but I think these rumors are put out there as an indirect form of blackmail. Where they go, you not give me... Ooh. The kind where they go, you not give me what I want, Pa, and I'll tell your secrets in my next book kind of thing. For me, this all fits into the same narrative. And for that matter, so does the divorce rumor. If they keep flaunting the divorce rumor, Charles will be more likely to worry about Harry and to have empathy for him. The little lost boy losing his second mommy with another 10 out there, but never mind. I can see this, and then 6 months or a year later, a sort of reconciliation, or Meghan moves closer to be nearer to the children. And I mean, who can or will say no to that? How bad will it look? Well, Charles certainly won't. Maybe William, but not King Charles. Anyway, what I can tell you for a fact, and something which is not speculation, is that something is going on in the royal family. And I do not think we have that long to wait before we find out what it is. Harry and Meghan's Netflix contract is also officially expiring sometime in September. So I think by early October at the latest, we'll know it all. What's going on in the marriage, Harry's relationship with Charles, and so on and so on. All these things that are currently up in the air and which no one really has answers to. I think that will all come to a head, or at least I honestly feel that the Netflix contract and deal will be the catalyst which will either bring the entire House of Cards down, or it will expose everything. Okay? So I think we'll know by end of September, mid-October, we'll know exactly what's going on with him. Okay, now before I leave, I want to mention something else which has drawn my attention these last few months. The entire issue regarding Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigit has really been a strange one. Now, before Candace Owens even spoke out about Brigitte's original gender, there were others who said Brigitte was born a male. But there's always something, which draws your attention off and away from this particular controversy. Well, for me at least. I mean, if it's not hectic riots and protests in France, it is Mrs. Macron slapping her husband in full view of the media, etc., etc. There's always something else. Now, I really do not know much about Brigitte Macron. I know she was married before and had 3 children, a daughter and 2 sons, I think. So I just always assumed that she was female. However, what really and truly bothers me, and people do not seem to be talking about that, is the fact that she was 39 and he was only 15 when they met. He was actually in her daughter's class. Now, okay, they married much, much later, but it is clear that she was physically attracted to him and infatuated with him from that early age. Now, would you agree with me that in this case in particular, gender does not really matter? What matters or should matter is the grooming of a child. Or am I just old-fashioned? Somehow I don't think so. My grandson is 15, the exact same age as Macron was then. And I'm absolutely sure he's not mature or responsible enough yet for a mature and physical relationship. And I also know how confused those hormones are at the moment. So I can also see something like that happening fairly easily. And that is why the adult should always take the lead and the responsibility. I just find it strange that for people, gender, in this particular case, matters more when, in my opinion, the adult-child relationship should be the bigger issue. I mean, I'm just saying, just in my humble, not so humble opinion. Okay, guys, now let me go. I'm so slow today. I have so much work. I'm back to sewing and arts and crafts, making toys and children's clothing, etc. Unfortunately, with my channel stagnating and not growing, I have to put my hands back to work. Luckily, I love being creative. It's just the time it takes to do both the channel and the sewing. I don't go to sleep until about 1 or 2 a.m. and then I'm usually awake until about 3 a.m. Anyway, guys, I'm leaving for now. By God's grace, I will be back tomorrow. So until then, please take good care of your souls and stay safe. Bye.